This is Cat's Diamond Painting. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've joined me here before. I'm here today to do a video I've been meaning to get around to for a while and then just been putting off because laziness. But today I thought I would just crack on and do it. A couple of months ago I put out a video showing you all of my diamond painting pen collection, and I thought that it would be fun to also show you my diamond painting tray collection. Obviously it's not a very original idea. I've seen lots of other content creators put out these kinds of videos, but I really enjoy watching them personally, so I thought it would be fun to show you mine. So I'm going to show you quite a few trays. I don't have a very large collection of trays from any one tray provider, but I have tried a lot of trays from a lot of places. So I've got quite a few to show you. And I'm just going to say before I start, if you watch my videos, you may notice that I tend to only use certain trays over and over again, and that's because I love to try trays. I love to support small shops by trying their products. But then I tend to stick with the ones that work best for me, because if there's something that just gives me a little niggly feeling of irritation that it doesn't work quite as well for me, I don't tend to use that tray. So there will be trays here that you have maybe seen on a small shop showcase and never seen again, or trays that predate me even making videos that I don't use. And part of the reason for making this video is I thought it would be helpful to go through them all and choose some that I will probably destash. So there will also be trays that I've tried along the way and I have already destashed because they just absolutely were not for me. And where that is the case, it is not a reflection on those trays. If I say that this tray or that tray doesn't work brilliantly, please bear in mind that that is for me, for my personal experience. Sorry, I just had a phone call there. I'm not sure if I'll have been able to cut out all of the ringtone. So yeah, if you had a blast of Florence and the Machine, that would be why. Yeah, so as I was saying, please do not be put off from trying one of these shops just because a tray doesn't work well for me. I have certain preferences, and those preferences may be completely different to someone else's preferences. So I'm going to talk you through how I personally perceive these trays, but please, if it looks good, give it a go. We all like different things, and that is fine. Okay, so I'm going to kick off with the trays that I think were the first ones that I ever found when I was branching out from, you know, just the basic trays that come with kits, because this was a UK small shop at one point. I think they closed down. I'm pretty sure I've looked them up on Etsy more recently and can't find them. They were called Hatfield 3D Designs, I believe. And there was a lady, a YouTuber called Alicia Borealis, I believe. And she doesn't seem to post anymore either, but she was behind the company. So I think I bought these two first, and there was a larger one which I destashed a while ago because I was just never using that because it was a dark colour, which is another thing I've learned along the way. Actually, you can give me the best tray in the world. If it's in a dark colour, I'm probably not going to use it because I just find it that much harder to see things. I can see white drills in a white tray. I can't see most dark colours in a dark tray very well. But anyway, so these were a good budget option for me in the UK, and they're actually pretty decent. So the first two came with this lid that sort of goes on and off like that. By the way, please excuse any like dirt and dust and stuff in the trays. A lot of these have sat in a drawer for a long time, and I have not cleaned them in preparation for this video. I'm afraid I just didn't have time to do that, or inclination. But yeah, I like the design of these. I like this sort of stylized 3D, you know, ness of this diamond thing. And actually, at one point, these trays worked brilliantly for me. As I said, I had a larger one, but it was in a dark colour that I didn't get on with. These smaller ones were in lighter colours, and I really liked them. They're now just too small for me. I used to do a lot of pieces where I had a lot of confetti, where I was single placing. It didn't matter to me if a tray wasn't big. Nowadays, I like trays to be not too large, but I like to hit that sweet spot where they're a decent size. Yeah, and these don't get used for that reason, but they were really good solid trays, well made. These two had the lid that just popped on like that. This one had a sliding lid. That was like a later design they came out with. Ooh, good stoppers. They were good trays. It's a shame that they went. You never know, maybe one day they'll be back, so watch out for them just in case. Probably one of the next ones that I personally tried was Bella Art de Nicole. I'd heard a lot about them. I think there was a point when there weren't that many places making 3D trays yet, and they were one of the really big names at that point in time. I discovered them at the point where they had this spout. I know that they did have earlier versions that didn't have a spout. They had like a corner gap that you poured out of, and that wouldn't have worked for me. These trays did work very well for me for a good length of time. I actually used the small ones a lot, even though they're very, very small, for the same reason I was just saying about the Hatfield Designs 3D one. I quite liked this basic one they did as well. Really not much bigger than a kit one, but it did line drills up better, and it had sort of sturdier, slightly higher sides. The big ones, oh, I've lost the stopper for that. These were a really good size. I liked them a lot at first, and really there's nothing wrong with them. They're just, for me, not the ones that I reach for particularly. There are just others that I prefer, but they are a good solid tray. I think they often sell things in sets. Like, I'm pretty sure I bought these as a set with 2 mini ones and a large one, which was a good feature. Next up, I have this one, which was from a lady who sells on Facebook in the UK called Marta. She does lots of different options, and I believe she's setting up a shop at some point. Currently, you just contact her via Facebook, and I know of her because of things that I've seen people putting into Facebook groups we're in. And this one, I'd seen a friend have this one, and I thought it was really pretty, and I wanted to have one. So this one was, oh, good stiff stopper there because I haven't used it that much to wear it down. It's a really nice size tray. I love that it has the ledge. That is something that I do look for in trays. You may have noticed with the orange Bella Art to Nicole one, it's got some washi tape from the last time I used it, because I do like that trick to help drills line up. This one, I found that for me, and for the way that I shake drills in a tray, I just found that these were a little too far apart and things didn't line up as neatly as I would have liked. It's something that if you single place or just multi-place with very small numbers, it's not going to bother you. For me, where I'm doing like 12, 14 drills at a time with my DAC multi-places, it doesn't work for me personally. So I don't tend to reach for this one, but it's a very pretty, well-made tray, and Marta is very, very good at what she does. These are solid, well-made trays. This one, it's another one that I got within the UK. I ordered it off Etsy. I can't remember who it was from, and to be honest, I'm not going to look this one up because it's not a tray I would personally recommend. I did try using it a few times. I found that the drills did not line up very neatly in it, and it has very shallow sides, which meant that I was just spilling drills all over the place. It's got a lid, but it's a very loose pop-on, pop-off lid, so it's not particularly useful in that regard. It's got a stopper. I like the stopper actually. So yeah, for me personally, this one didn't work, but it may well do for someone else. It was within the UK and it was cheap, so those are good things. Next up, another one that may be slightly controversial. So I have a couple of Admore Zest trays. And Admore Zest trays, I know, are massively, massively popular, and they are really good trays. They just don't work for me. I did have a pink one that was a bit bigger that I think is their sort of standard size. These are what they call the Zesty tray. This is one that I bought myself a while ago, and this one came with their advent calendar, which I bought last year. And yeah, this is definitely a personal preference one, because I know these are good trays because a lot of people swear by them and use nothing else but these. For me, they just don't work that well. I think the things that I have found hard are I find drills get stuck going down these horizontal edges a fair bit. And I also find that the sides are just a bit too shallow for me. I'm obviously a bit too vigorous in the way that I shake my drills in a tray. And whilst I'm a bit like the Princess and the Pea and it has to be just right, you know, I don't want it too high either. I definitely do want it a bit higher than this because I spill them. And I find with one like this with no lid, it has got a cover for the spout end, but only on the very lower bit. I just drop drills all the time. So these go in the category of a really good tray because so many people love them, but they just don't work for me. They're not one that I personally reach for. Next up, I have a couple of very mini trays that I picked up on Etsy from Cats's Crafty Things. I picked these up to try because they were very cheap. Unfortunately, by the time I got these, I'd already reached a point where I was tending to use bigger trays, and I think I just saw the price and went for them and didn't think about how actually for me trays this small aren't the best anymore for the reasons I've already covered. Catsy's Crafty Things, I just checked, and on Etsy it seems like they have quite a small profile, but I see them on TikTok Shop a lot, and they have a huge presence on TikTok Shop. So they sell trays, they sell putty in fact, and all manner of diamond painting things. So yeah, they're a good shop to check out. And like, it's a really nice tray. This one feels really sturdy. I think this one here I noticed has some loose filament in the corners. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a little bit scruffy in the finish. But really there's nothing wrong with these trays, and for the price they're good. The only things that for me don't make them perfect are the size. Again, probably a fairly short side, and also a thing that I have realised belatedly is I don't love side spouts. I mean, it's fine, I can definitely work with them if the tray works brilliant for me, but I do prefer central spouts. And that would probably be why these ones also don't work amazingly for me. I sound really negative. I sort of loosely organise the trays in terms of what works best for me coming later. So I might sound a bit complainy in these earlier stages of the video, but I'm just going to stress again, if I'm saying a tray doesn't work well for me, I'm saying it doesn't work well for me. It may work brilliantly for you. And these are from Kitting Up Kitten, who has an Etsy shop. She has a YouTube and she's UK based. So again, a brilliant option for people in the UK to check out, because obviously that makes things considerably cheaper. And these ones, this is a style of tray that I've seen quite a few places do this exact shape with a side spout. And again, it's just the sizing for me, and then the side spout just makes it one I'm not going to reach for as much, but it is well done. It is solidly made and 3D printed well, and I know a lot of people who swear by these. I also feel bad saying that these don't work so well for me, because I'm pretty sure these were a freebie. I think I ordered some cover minders, and one of the ones that I'd ordered was out of stock, so she put these in as a sort of compensation. So I feel quite bad complaining, but like I said, they just don't do it for me. This one as well is very small, very much a sort of single placer confetti painting kind of thing. I'm pretty sure ones like this would be stackable. So yeah, that's a big plus for them. This one was one that I found on Etsy in the US, and I think I got via my Stackry address. It's from a place called the Dynamite Diamond Shop. And I do like this tray. It's particularly sturdy. Like the sides are kind of tapered, they're thicker at the bottom. So I definitely feel like this is well constructed and would not break easily. It's got a good stopper. I think the only thing that stops me reaching for this one as often is the height of the sides. Remember how I said I was a bit like the Princess and the Pea? This is a good example, because this one I find a little too high, at least in a reasonably small tray. You know, if it was a bigger tray, then maybe it'd be all right. But ones like this, I just find I catch the side of my hand a lot. It is very well made though. I do think looking at this, I should definitely get it out and try using it again. And then this one is from a place called Melior 3D Print, and I think I got this around Christmas time. It's got very snazzy colours. And I really like this tray, and I'm looking at this now thinking, why haven't I used this in a while? Because I remember really enjoying it. So you can see I've added washi tape, because I think at the time this came I was discovering how much I like that. I wonder if they've started selling them with a ledge, because I'd definitely like to try that. It's got a really cool stopper that has like cutouts, so it sort of slides on like that, which makes it, I think, probably more secure. Like it's easy to remove, obviously it's not stiff, but it doesn't feel like that's going to loosen and, you know, get so it start dropping off very easily. I like the multicolored aspect whilst it's still staying, you know, light and easy to see drills. Yeah, I definitely think I'm going to use this one again, because I remember enjoying it a lot. I imagine I probably put it away because I started to get ones that had ledges, But yeah, it's a very good, well-made, solid tray. It's got a nice holographic design on the bottom and their little logo there. And I'm going to check out their website and see what else they have. I wonder, because it's been a good few months, they might have interesting new pretties for me to try. So yeah, check them out. They are on Etsy. Next up, I suppose another one that might be slightly controversial, because these are from Firefly and I don't love them. I like them, but I don't love them. So I first off bought a set of a couple of small ones. So they name all there. So these Flint is the name for this size. And I bought a set of a couple of them and I was really enjoying them. So I ordered a couple more. So the thing with Firefly that is really cool is they have this, instead of a spout, they have a slidey thing like this. So you don't have a spout that you can lose, it's all sort of contained. And that's really cool. I think that is such an innovative idea. And if you're the kind of person that always puts your spout in when you're using your drills, that is good. You're not going to lose things. However, the thing I realised belatedly is that I'm not that kind of person. I tend to just leave the spout out. So this one is Ignite and I love the colour and it's got a tray, a lid. But the thing I found, yeah, is this one. So 3D printing kind of wears a bit and things that start off being snug get a lot firmer. This is now very loose. You can see it dropping back down. So what I found with this one is I would try and just leave it open, but it would close, or I'd open it and go to shake my drills into tray and you can hear that that is now rattling around. So I just wonder if I was unlucky with this one or if there is an issue with longevity of theirs. Because once you're, when you're trying to shake drills out, if a stopper keeps closing up and you can't stop it, I mean, it'd be a bit awkward to do this. It just, yeah, not ideal for me. And then, yeah, that one's the same. There's probably, if you use them a lot, there's probably a knack to it. Like you shake them in that direction or something. But because I haven't used them a lot, I haven't got used to doing that. And that has been an irritation for me. They do have really cool things. So like they've got a little trash drill space. They've got a pen holder on this one. The other thing that I will say about them is that I feel like I needed a bigger size tray, but I don't like having huge trays. So the space that I work in, I just don't have space for a really big tray in terms of footprint. But the thing with this one is it's quite a big tray in terms of footprint. I mean, it's not huge, but I've got far smaller. But a lot of it is taken up with this kind of thing. So the actual usable tray space becomes quite small. And that's another thing that I've just found a bit annoying, because I feel like when the sides are as high as they are, because this is a particularly high-sided one, I find like the comfortable usable area is a lot smaller than I would like. So these are actually trays that I think I will be destashing at some point, because they are brilliant trays for a lot of people, for other people's diamond painting style, and they just don't work so well for me. So I feel like I shouldn't hang on to them. I might keep the little one, because actually if I'm doing a confetti piece, that works fine and it doesn't matter so much. And actually this seems to be holding up a little bit better on this one. The bigger ones, I tried getting one out to work with it recently and it just wasn't working well for me. So that is my opinion on the Firefly trays. Next up, I tried this one a few months ago, and this is from a place called By Stein or By Steen, I'm not sure, because they're based in Norway, so you don't necessarily pronounce it in the same way as I would. And this tray I found really, really good. It's firstly very well made, very, very solid and sturdy. I like the lid, which again is nice and sturdy. Sometimes slide-on lids can be a little bit flimsy. The stopper is good, and for now at least still fits really firmly. If that loosens through usage, then it won't be particularly useful, because there's not a lot of it, like, that will drop out quite easily. But right now it's fine, and as I say, I personally don't use stoppers and lids while I'm working anyway. I like that it has the ledge built in. My only reasons I don't reach for this one too often are I found the spacing of the spout just meant that quite often 2 drills would try to go through at once and they would just get ever so slightly stuck and I would need to push them through. And the other thing is, it's a little bit narrow for me. I have other narrow and small trays like this, and for all the reasons I've already covered, I just don't tend to reach for them because I suppose I find the space near the sides of a tray isn't that usable. I tend to always take my drills from the middle. So if it's very narrow, that means there's really only a few rows where I'm going to take drills from before I need to shake them around again. But it is a really good tray. I'm going to keep an eye on their shop and see if they start to bring out different designs, because if they have bigger, wider ones, I'd definitely be interested in trying that. Yeah, I think this one was also a sort of lucky dip for colours. I think it said like rainbow colours and you don't know which one you're getting. And yeah, perfectly happy with how that worked out. These ones were in my latest small shop showcase. So these came from Zeus 3D Creations in the UK. Love having loads of UK options these days. So this is the first one that I ordered, which is a smaller one. And this tray was only about £5. So it was very, very, very reasonable and so well made for it. You know, there's no loose bits of filament. It's very solid feeling, really nice height to the sides, good stopper, all the things that you look for, but a really good cheap price. And then this one, as I explained in my small shop showcase, the owner of Zeus 3D Creations, Ashley, reached out to me having seen a video of mine and seen that I like silk filaments, and said she'd bought out this new size that's made with silk filaments and would I like to try it. So yeah, I showed this one as well. Oops. And this one is another excellent tray. It's a little long for me in my workspace. Ideally, I can manage, but I have to be careful not to knock it. Like I say, I'm very much princess in the PES-esque here. Trays have to be just right, and that's why I don't actually use an awful lot of these. But it is a really good tray if you've got more space than me and you like to multi-place. Then a big long tray like this that lines the drills up well is worth its weight in gold. I think they sell for about £15. Oh, and the other thing with these is they line the drills up brilliantly, including round drills. And an awful lot of trays I found do a good job with squares, but not round drills. And these ones absolutely smashed it with both. Next up, I have a couple of trays from DP Gal Creations, who are over in Canada, but I purchased these using my Stackry address in the US, my parcel forwarding service. So this one I got first of all. Now, I'd heard a lot about them and they didn't have much stock at the time. They were the kind of shop that was selling out, and then, you know, you had to grab what you wanted. So I ended up getting this one, which, if you're paying attention to what I was saying about colours earlier, it is just far too dark for me. It's also got some broken filament there. So this one, I don't know. It doesn't matter, does it? That does not affect usage whatsoever. But I suppose as a quality control thing, that's not ideal. Don't know why I had the stopper on the wrong way. Yeah, you can see when I put the stopper in, it just doesn't sit quite right. But aside from that bit, it feels like a good solid tray. And I think the size of this would work really well for me. So I really should try another one in this size from them at some point. I did recently get a bigger one from them. I went for this nice silky white. And I'm trying to think why I haven't been using this more, because I definitely did try it. I think I found that drills got a little bit stuck going through the spout. It's that thing where, you know, if they fall through one by one, they flow really nicely. But if two fall down at exactly the same moment, they can get a bit stuck and you end up having to poke them through with something. And that irks me. And I think that was what happened with this. I love how this tray is, this video, just because I only use my absolute favourite trays, has just turned into me being really negative. I'm so sorry, guys. That wasn't my intention when I set out to make this. Hopefully you will take it as it is meant to be, in terms of it's just my opinion. These are the trays that I've tried and the things that I've liked and the things that I haven't liked so much about them. I think the problem is I'm looking at them and my memory is going, oh, that's why you don't use that tray. And I'm not remembering the things that they do well in the same way. Like these lined up drills, as far as I can remember, really, really well. And this was nice and silky and the drills slid around in it well. There were so many plus points. And I don't feel like I'm giving you a very balanced view. So please do bear in mind what I'm trying to do here. It's got DP Gal Creations on the side. I quite like when companies do that. And yeah, I'm going to try this one again and figure out what it was that I did or didn't like about it, I think. Okay, I've got 4 tray companies still to show you. I have a small collection here from Oraloa. Oraloa are a diamond painting shop rather than a tray specialist, but they do have some of their own tray designs. And I have a few. I had another one that I destashed at one point, I think. So this one, first of all, really, really good small tray. Now I'll have to check which ones they still have because they don't still sell all of these designs. And they were quite cheap and reasonable as well. Very sturdy, very nicely done. This one is a little bit dark for me unless the colours are really light, and it's a little bit on the small side, but is a great tray. This one, and I remember this was why I tried Oraloa trays, is because I saw someone trying this one, and these line up rounds amazingly, and at the time I had no other trays that handled rounds well, and I was like, yes, I must try them. So I got this one. It's another one with that funny sort of stopper with space, which for some reason I really like. I find this one really satisfying to go on and off. So yeah, this is the bigger one in terms of the space for the drills. My reason why I don't use this one much and haven't since I got it is I don't get flat-ended ones like this. Like I've said before, I don't love ones that have a side spout. I prefer a central spout. But the exception to that would be if there's no tapering. Because if it's tapered, you can just pour out. It's nice and easy. If there's a side spout, because of the way I'm used to pouring them out, it's a bit of an adjustment to tilt them on one side. With this one, you have to tilt them down one side and then down the other, because you tilt them from this side and some fall out and some go down here, and then you have to tilt them back again. And I don't understand that design. I'm not sure who that would work for. This one you may recognise from some of my previous whip and chats, because this has for a long time been one of my favourite trays. It needs a clean, it's a bit grubby. But this is such a simple basic tray design, and yet it works brilliantly. I've got washi tape on it, and I think the main reason that I have stopped using this one as much is that I found other trays that work as well that do have the ledge inbuilt. But I still absolutely love this tray. Handles round drills brilliantly, handles square drills brilliantly. It's got really good sides. I say that, they actually look a little short compared to some of the others that I've said are perfect, but this one's always worked well for me. The spout was good and tapered. For some reason they stopped selling this design. I had checked back so many times to see if I could buy it in another colour so that if I'm using blue drills, you know, I've got something for contrast. Never managed to buy it from them again, but I love this design. I would love to have more trays just like this. Next up, I have a few trays from Mooney Made. I did actually have a couple of trays from Mooney Made in the past. I had a large one that I don't seem to have anymore. I don't remember what I did with it. And I had another one in this size, which when I had these ones on the way, I destashed, because that is one that I had bought in a drop, and her tray drops go like that. And I'd bought it, and it was just in a colour that I didn't love and didn't like to use that much. So knowing that I had these free on the way, I got rid of that one. I waited on the waiting list for probably a year or more in order to buy these. And I showed them on a small shop showcase a couple of months ago. So she is popular, and I think she's quite a small operation, you know, she doesn't have loads of 3D printers. She can't print that many at once. But they're really good trays. They are well worth it. I think she was the first one to do this shape as well. A few places I've seen have done it now, but I think this was her shape originally. And I'm pretty sure that the first trays I had from her seemed to have a sort of blunter pouring end. I think she's tapered it more, which for me is really good, because that helps when you've got sort of round pot storage with a narrower top. So I got from that, you know, when I got the email saying I was top of the waiting list, I got this blue sparkly one, which is very pretty. Drills don't slide around the best in it because of the glitter. It's more, you know, for the fun, the look of it. But yeah, it does a good job. This one is colour change, but I will say is quite hard to do. If I put this like under my top against my belly and leave it there for like 10 minutes, then it will turn orange. But it's a fun feature, but in practice it doesn't make much of a difference to using the tray. I think I thought when I ordered it that, you know, if I picked it up you would see my fingerprints, and I thought, oh, that would be fun. My favourite of the three is this one, and this is the only one where I got the full set with the stopper and the lid, because it added a fair bit to the price and I don't use them much during diamond painting, so I didn't bother. So the lid just pops on and off, but it's a nice snug fit that won't come off too easily. The stopper, I like these ones that just drop in like this because it's loose from the first place, and that's not going to mean that it falls out. Okay, if you tip it that way it will fall out, but you're not going to have a situation with this one where through normal wear and tear it just falls out that way, if that makes sense. And I find these to be a really good size for me. If I'm doing a lot of multi-placing, I prefer one with a little bit more space. But actually, for most kinds of numbers of drills, I find that this does very well. And this one is super pretty. It's like a sort of rainbow filament. I think she might even have called it like magic filament or something, if I'm remembering things correctly and not just totally making things up. So I very much enjoy that tray. And these, but this is my favourite. Only two more tray shops to show you. So this is what I would probably say is my second favourite tray shop. This is Bijou Bliss Designs, and there are so many features of these trays that I love. You might be able to guess why they're not my favourite, and it's because looking at these you can quite clearly see the side spout, that, as I've said, it's absolutely not a problem or a design flaw. Lots of people are very happy with it. I just don't love it. So this was, I think, the first one I ordered from them. And the thing that they do that is different, and I think was theirs first, and I love, is they have magnets that hold the lid and the stopper in. And I find that what this means is if I've got a lot of drills to shake out into a pot, these are the only trays that I can be bothered to put the lid on because there's no sliding it, there's no having to line it up so it fits in grooves. You just go like that. And because it's got magnets, it's gonna stay. And that means, you know, I can shake them out into a pot and not lose loads of drills. And I absolutely love that feature. Couldn't use a tray with a side spout without that, for the most part, I think. And they're really good. Very well made. They're getting very popular now, so I don't know what their shipping times are like. They're on Etsy. I'm not sure if they're elsewhere as well. They may well have a website. But I've always found the shipping time to be quite reasonable. They do ship directly to the UK, but I've actually used my Stackry inbox. And yeah, they're just really good trays. Lots of silky filaments as well that I like. This is the narrow one. I did have another narrow one, but I gifted that to a friend because I thought it would suit her, and it does. She likes it. So these are really good if I have, you know, maybe a bit more confetti and that kind of thing. I tend to find, though, if I am doing a piece with lots of confetti and wanting to change the colours more often, I would reach for one with a central spout because I find that just a little bit off-putting. So this one doesn't get as much use as this one. This is a really good size tray. So that is Bijou Bliss Designs. Thoroughly recommend. Check them out. So that brings me to what is currently my favourite tray shop. This may change because goodness knows, and I'm not going to stop trying new places. But yeah, these are the ones I reach for the most often. And these are from Yellow Dog Designs CA. So the CA is for Canada, they're in Canada. And again, they're another one that I think they do ship directly to the UK. Pretty sure they do actually. But I have used my Stackry address just to have them sent down to the US and then combine shipping with other things to get them over here. So I think this was my first one. There are various options like buying without a lid or a full lid. I went for a pour lid, which is quite cool. It just slots in quite easily. and I don't tend to use it because, as I've said lots of times already, I'm lazy about that. I don't bother, but I do think it's a cool feature and it's nice to have that option, and it fits very nice and snugly. These were the first people that I saw doing the ledge at the bottom. May not mean they were the first, but they were the first place that I noticed it. And I love that. It really, really helps me with my drill lining up. So yeah, I really enjoy that feature of it. It's nice and silky. It's very well made. I have used this a lot. You can see it's getting a bit grubby on the bottom. It needs a clean. And it's held up very well to it. I then recently got a second one in a second colour. So this is exactly the same design as this one, just a different colour. And again, all the same things apply. It's brilliant. I also tried a narrow one of theirs. It actually says on the side narrow. Did they say anything? No. It says version 4 and that's version 3. Oh, I wonder what the difference is between those. The stopper's different. I don't know. Anyway, so this one, it's glow in the dark. That's why it's got a slightly unusual colourway, which is one of those things that is just so utterly pointless for diamond painting. And yeah, I love a gimmick. This one, much like some of the other smaller ones I've mentioned, I just find it a bit too narrow. This one is even narrower than the other one I showed you, I think. And like for me, the way I line up my drills, the usable area is so small that I can't honestly say I reach for this one. But all the same design features still apply. And for someone else who frequently works with much smaller numbers of drills and isn't worried about multi-placing and so on, it would be fab. And then the other one I have is this ergonomic one. So they have this feature where it's an ergonomic one. It's designed to be held in your hand. And you say how you hold it normally. So I think I said I hold it in my left hand with the spout pointing downwards. You could change all those variables. And yeah, it's good. It does the job. I think the only reason that I don't personally find it as ergonomic is because my hand is small. So I feel a little bit of strain down there doing this. But it's such a cool design feature to do that. It's got a spout which still fits perfectly despite it being off on the side. Obviously, you won't be surprised to learn I'm not a huge fan of the side spout, but I think this is a really cool idea. So those are all of my trays, and I really, really must de-stash some of these. I think some of them need a good scrub and a clean after sitting in a dusty drawer for a long time. And then I need to make some room because there are ones here that realistically I'm not going to be using again. But I've also, through doing this, come across lots of trays that I thought, why have I stopped using that tray? I definitely need to get that out again. So it's been quite fun for me as well. But I hope you found this informative. I hope you haven't found me overly negative. These are all great trays for someone. Every tray that I haven't loved, someone else out there will think it's their favourite tray. So yeah, please bear that in mind. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. If you have liked this video, please consider dropping a like on it. And if you are not yet subscribed to my channel and you've liked what I've done here, please consider doing that too. And I will hopefully see you again soon. Bye bye.